Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling one of the most requested topics in data science, recommendation systems. You see them every day on Amazon, Netflix, but today we're going to stop being just the users and start being the creators. What if I told you that Amazon's recommendation system isn't magic, it's just math, and you can build it yourself using Python? In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through how to create your own AI-powered recommendation engine, one that predicts what products a user is most likely to buy next using the same core techniques used by industry giants. And here's the best part. No expensive software, no paid APIs, just free tools and real-world data. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully functional recommendation system, something you can showcase in your portfolio, use in real projects, or even turn into a business idea. Before we start, relax. You are not expected to type every line of this code. Yes, we will copy-paste. And no, that does not mean you're cheating. Let me tell you a secret. Professional developers copy code every single day, from documentation, GitHub, and previous projects. Typing trains fingers. Understanding trains the brain. I've attached the full working code in the description. Your job is not to memorize syntax. Your job is to understand why this AI works. Let's dive in and start building. Before writing any AI logic, we need to install the tools we need, called libraries. Let's install required libraries. Open your terminal and run these commands. First, I'm installing pandas. Once this command completes successfully, we move to the next one. So type pip install pandas and hit enter, once installed. Next, I'm installing scikit-learn, which is required for machine learning operations. Type pip install scikit-learn, and now I'm installing scikit-surprise. This package will be used later for recommendation logic. Pip install surprise. Finally, I'm installing Flask, which we'll use to run our application and expose the AI logic, and last one is pip install Flask. All required packages are now installed successfully. In the next step, we'll start writing the actual AI code. Once the libraries are installed, we import them into our project. So here I have imported all the libraries. Let me explain what each library does. Pandas is basically Excel on steroids. We'll use it to load, clean, and analyze our purchase data. Scikit-learn is where the math happens. It helps us calculate how similar products or users are to each other. Surprise is built specifically for recommendation systems. It handles user ratings, collaborative filtering, and prediction logic. This is our people comparison machine. It tells us who thinks like whom. Flask allows us to turn this AI model into an actual website, not just code, but something real users can interact with. Without Flask, this would stay stuck in the terminal. This just hides scary messages beginners don't need. You might be wondering, why is he printing so many things to the console? Let me explain with a real-life analogy. Imagine you're cooking for the first time. You don't just throw everything into a pan and hope for the best. You constantly check. Is the stove on? Is the water boiling? Did I add salt? Print statements do the same thing for code. This is our first checkpoint. If this line prints, it means Python is installed correctly. Libraries are available. We can safely continue. If this does not print, stop and fix the setup. So before AI can recommend anything, it needs memories. Just like humans. Imagine you and your friends go shopping every weekend. Over time, you start noticing patterns. One friend always buys shoes, another loves electronics. You, personally, never say no to coffee gadgets. Your brain automatically remembers these patterns. AI cannot remember unless we store this information. So, we are creating sample e-commerce data. This dictionary is AI's memory notebook. Every row inside this structure represents one real interaction. Okay, so here's our data. Each row represents one purchase. User ID, who bought it. Product ID, what they bought. Rating, how much they liked it, 1 to 5 stars. In a real app, this would be coming from your database. maybe thousands or millions of rows. We have 10 users, 7 different products, and 21 total purchases. This is enough to see the AI in action. Now comes the fun part. Let's teach the AI to recognize patterns. Right now, our data is just raw notes. Panda's data frame turns these notes into a clean, structured table. Think of it like converting a messy diary into an Excel sheet. This line is extremely important. Never trust data you haven't seen. Head 10 shows us the first 10 rows. It helps us confirm users look correct, products look correct, ratings look realistic, blind AI is bad AI. If your data is wrong, your recommendations will be wrong. AI doesn't think, it obeys data. Now that AI has memories, next, we'll organize those memories into a structure AI can actually understand. That's the user item matrix, and it's where the magic begins. This is the most important part of the entire project. If you understand this, you understand recommendation systems. Here, index equals user underscore ID means rows are users, and columns equals product ID means columns are products. Values equals rating means we fill the chart with ratings. Fill value equals 0 means no experience. This matrix is AI's brain. Every recommendation, every similarity, every prediction starts right here. If this matrix is wrong, everything that comes after will be wrong. No algorithm can fix bad structure. Now AI has organized memories. Next, we teach AI how to compare people. That's called user similarity, and it's how AI finds taste twins. This is the part where most beginners panic. So let me say this clearly. You do not need math here. You only need intuition. Imagine it's Friday night. You and your friends want to watch a movie. One friend always likes the same movies you like. Another friend never agrees with your taste. When it's time to choose, whose opinion matters more? You trust people who think like you. AI does the same thing. This single line compares every user with every other user. It looks at the big chart we created earlier and measures how similar two users' rating patterns are. These print lines are not part of AI logic. They're like section headings in a book. When your program runs, they tell you, okay, now we're in the similarity step. Now we print the similarity matrix. This is AI showing its thinking. Each row and column is a user. Each number answers one question. How similar are these two people? The numbers go from 0 to 1. Closer to 1 means very similar taste. Closer to 0 means nothing in common. You'll notice something interesting. Every user is most similar to themselves. That's why the diagonal values are 1. That's expected, not a bug. Printing this matrix helps us confirm one thing. AI is comparing users correctly. Without printing, we would be guessing. And guessing is dangerous in AI. Right now, AI is just finding friends with similar taste. Now AI knows who thinks like whom. In the next step, we'll use this information to predict new products. That's where recommendations are born. Up to now, AI has only been observing. It collected memories, it organized them, it found people with similar taste. Now, AI makes a decision. Imagine a friend comes to you and says, I liked these 3 products. What should I try next? You don't answer randomly. You think, who else liked the same things? What did they enjoy next? That's exactly what this function does. This function answers one question. What products should we recommend to this user? The input is a user ID. The output is a small list of recommendations. Simple goal, powerful result. This print line is like an announcement. It tells us, AI has started thinking for this user. In real systems, logs like this help track requests. First rule of good code, never trust user input. If someone enters a user ID that doesn't exist, we stop early instead of crashing. This print explains the problem clearly. Returning an empty list is a safe exit. This is defensive programming, very professional. Now AI pulls out this user's row from the big chart. This row shows everything the user has already rated. We only want products the user has never tried. Remember, 0 means no experience. Recommending known products makes no sense. This print shows the candidate list. These are the only products AI will consider. Now AI asks, who thinks most like this user? We sort users by similarity score. Then we remove the user themselves. You don't take advice from yourself. This print makes AI transparent. We can see who is influencing the recommendation. This builds trust. Now we go through each unknown product, one by one. Think of this like collecting opinions. Each opinion has a rating and a weight. This is the heart of collaborative filtering. A close friend's opinion matters more than a stranger's. Similar users get more influence. And this line calculates the final guess. It answers, how much will this user probably like this product? This is prediction. We don't want all predictions. We want the best ones. Sorting puts the highest rated products first. This print confirms success. AI finished thinking. Finally, we return only the top results. Short lists feel helpful. Long lists feel overwhelming. All right, let's summarize. AI looked at what you liked, who is similar to you, what they liked, and made a smart guess. That's a recommendation system. Now AI can think. Next, we'll give AI real product details so humans can understand the results. Right now, our AI can predict numbers, but numbers alone are useless to humans. If I tell you product 103 has a predicted rating of 4.6, that means nothing. Imagine walking into a store, and every product has only a number, no name, no price, no category. You'd walk right out. This dictionary is our product catalog. It's like the product table in a real company database. The key, like 101, is the product ID. Inside, we store real information humans care about. Name tells us what the product actually is. Wireless headphones make sense. Product 101 does not. Price tells users how much it costs. Recommendations without prices are frustrating. Category helps users understand context. Electronics, sports, home, this matters. And yes, the emoji. This is small but powerful. Humans respond to visuals faster than text. We print the product catalog for one reason: to verify everything looks correct. This is a sanity check. AI predictions are just math. The product catalog gives that math meaning. This is where AI stops being abstract and starts becoming useful. Let's recap. AI predicts product IDs. The catalog translates IDs into real products. This is how machines talk to humans. Now we have predictions and real product details. Next, we'll test everything in the console, like real engineers do before shipping. Before we show this to users, before we build a website, we test. Always. Imagine buying a car. Would you drive it on the highway without testing the brakes? Of course not. Console testing is our test drive. We don't test just one user. Testing one case proves nothing. We test multiple users to make sure the logic is general. This line asks the AI, what would you recommend for this user? It's the same function we'll later use in the web app. This print line adds clarity. It separates output by user so we don't get confused. This check answers a simple question. Did the AI find anything to recommend? Sometimes a user has already rated everything. That's not a bug. That's reality. Now we go through each recommendation, one by one. Enumerate gives us ranking numbers, first, second, third. And remember the product catalog? This is where we use it. We translate product IDs into human-friendly details. This is the moment of truth. AI is no longer silent. It explains its decision in human language. Printing results helps us verify 3 things. Let's run our code and see if it's working. 1. The logic works. 2. Predictions make sense. 3. Output is readable. If you see sensible recommendations here, you're doing great. The hardest part is already done. Now that we trust the brain, it's time to give it a face. Next, We'll turn this into a real web application using Flask. Up until now, our AI has been thinking quietly inside the terminal. Powerful, but invisible. Now, we let the world talk to it. Imagine you built an amazing machine, but it's locked inside a room. No buttons, no door. Flask is how we open that door. This line creates our web application. Think of it as opening a shop. Without this, nothing else works. This route handles the home page. Whenever someone opens the website, this function runs. And I've added some styling to make it look modern. Check out this gradient background and these smooth animations. This print is our confirmation. It tells us, yes, the browser successfully connected. This sends HTML to the browser. That HTML includes design, input box, button, JavaScript logic. This is the face of our AI. And this is the most important route. This is the AI endpoint. The browser sends a user ID, and this function returns recommendations. And this print is like a doorbell. It tells us, someone just asked the AI for help. Again, never trust input from the internet. Anyone can type anything into a URL. Instead of crashing, we return a clean error message. This is how real APIs behave. This is the bridge. Flask talks to the AI brain we already built. Same logic, same function. Sometimes AI has nothing new to suggest. That's okay. We return an empty list, not an error. And AI outputs raw predictions. The web needs structured data, and this step packages everything neatly. Numbers become names. Predictions become products. This print confirms success. AI finished its job. This sends data back to the browser. JSON is the language of the web. These prints are your green signal. The AI is live. This line brings everything together: data, AI, logic, UI. Now watch what happens when we run it. Terminal showing starting server. Browser opening to localhost: 5000. Next, let's open the browser with this localhost: 5000. Look at that! Our AI is now live. Let me test it with user 1. And boom, we get 3 personalized recommendations with predicted ratings. Let's try user 5. Completely different recommendations because this person has different tastes. This is a fully functional recommendation engine, and you just built it in under 15 minutes. Now, this is a beginner version. If you want to take this to the next level, here's what you could add. Content-based filtering. Recommend products similar to what someone already bought. Hybrid systems. Combine multiple AI techniques for better accuracy. Real database. Connect to MySQL or MongoDB instead of sample data. Cold start problem. Handle new users with no purchase history and A/B testing. Track which recommendations actually convert to sales. I'm planning a follow-up video on these advanced topics. Let me know in the comments which one you want first. And that's it. You just built an AI recommendation engine from scratch. If you want to see more AI projects that actually make money or solve real problems, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.